Now we will see this test yourself questions related to FTP, and with that module 4 is over. Okay. As you asked me to discuss FTP in detail, that's why I have made a discussion little bit in detail pa. Otherwise quickly I would have completed only the summary part, but I have covered like little in detail. So you can see the first question. So this is test yourself questions in chapter number 9, foreign trade policy. Question number 1. Monotype traders want to enter into export contracts with various customers. It intends to understand the currency denomination while entering into contract with them and seeks your advice as to how it should ensure the compliance. So in order to get the incentives under a foreign trade policy, so it should be in convertible foreign exchange only, the contracts. But wherever it is permitted by RBI, that is to Nepal and Bhutan, the contract can be entered in Indian rupees also. Okay. But generally it should be convertible foreign exchange, Indian rupees. So in case of Nepal and Bhutan. Okay. So contracts for which payments are received through ACU shall be denominated in ACU dollar, Asian Clearing Union. Export contracts and invoice can be denominated in Indian rupees against Exim Bank or Government of India line of credit. Then next question. Jigsaw Puzzle has imported inputs having CAF value of 25 lakhs without payment of duty under advance authorization. Inputs are supplied free of cost valued at 5 lakhs to meet eventualities of quality issues arising during manufacture. On manufacturing, the products are supplied to SEZ and realization is in Indian currency through regular current account. Jigsaw Puzzle wants to know whether it is entitled to advance authorization scheme and what should be the minimum value addition. The minimum value addition in case of advance authorization is 15%. You are required to compute the F4 value of supplies to SEZ. Jigsaw Puzzle has manufactured and supplied goods against EPCG authorization to their customer. Jigsaw Corporation who are setting up a new unit for export. The payment for such supplies received in Indian currency. Can advance authorization be denied as payment has not been received in free foreign exchange? So first of all, advance authorization is given even for supplies to SEZ and they should achieve a value addition condition of 15%. Suppose if any notional cost, like suppose if any free cost material is being imported for use in manufacture of finished goods, the notional cost of that material should be included in both CAF value as well as in FOB value. Okay. So whether they should receive in foreign exchange, yes. So only in case of SEZ developer, the payment can be received in Indian rupees, but for SEZ units, they have to receive in foreign exchange. However, they are not eligible for AA as SEZ unit is not realized in foreign currency. However, it is for SEZ developers, so it can be in Indian rupees. That is that. Okay. And here they made imports of what value? They made a imports of value. So 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs. So 25 lakhs. So what we need to do is that for 25 plus 5, because free of cost material should be added. Free of cost material should be added. So therefore 25 plus 5. So 30, on that 30 they need to achieve 15%. So 34 lakh 50,000 will be taken. So this is how the value addition should be computed. Then what about EPCG? There is one question on EPCG. That is, Jigsaw Puzzle has manufactured and supplied goods against EPCG to their customer. That is also eligible for advance authorization because sale to EPCG holder is known as deemed export. So deemed exports are also eligible for advance authorization. Okay. Then next one, but deemed exports is eligible for advance authorization provided the realization is in convertible foreign exchange. Question number 3. What do you understand by the term foreign trade policy, which is the governing legislation for FTP? So the governing legislation for FTP is Foreign Trade Regulation and Development Act 1992. Which government authorities administer FTP in India? That is DGFT in close coordination with CBIC, RBI and state GST departments. It's not state VAT departments, it is state GST departments. They need to work in coordination with them. And FTP is set of guidelines or instructions. So for what purpose? In order to regulate the imports and encourage the exports. Okay. And so it is through Foreign Trade Regulation and Development Act, and Ministry of Commerce and Industry governs the affairs. Okay. And they have delegated it to DGFT, and DGFT through their regional authorities will implement the FTP in India, and they will be working in close coordination with these three people. That is what you need to write as answer for that. Briefly explain as to how FTP is linked with customs law. So foreign trade policy talks about what to be imported and what to be exported, and whereas customs law talks about the procedure and valuation with respect to import. So see this, foreign trade policy is closely knit with customs laws. However, the policy provisions per se do not override the tax laws. The exemptions extended by FTP are given effect to by issue of notifications under the respective tax laws. Okay, that is Customs and Customs Tariff Act. So exemption notifications refers to policy provisions for detailed conditions, and DGFT, suppose if there is any conflict, who is final and binding? DGFT. Decision of DGFT is final and binding in respect of interpretation of any provision of foreign trade policy. So these are the points that you need to write for this. Then, so number 6, with reference to provisions of FTP, discuss giving reasons whether the following statements are true or false. If any doubt arises in respect of interpretation of any provision of FTP, the said doubt should be forwarded to CBIC, whose decision thereon would be final and binding. False. The decision of DGFT is only final and binding, not CBIC. Authorization once claimed by an importer cannot be refused by DGFT. False. Authorization is not a right. So the DGFT is having power to refuse to grant or renew. IEC is a unique 12-digit permanent account number based alphanumeric code allotted to a person for undertaking any export or import activities. IEC is allotted by DGFT, which is a 10-digit permanent account number itself. Then waste generated during manufacturing SEZ can be freely disposed in DTA on payment of applicable customs duty without any authorization. True. So there is no need of any authorization, even though waste and scrap requires authorization. However, customs duty is payable by the person who is purchasing that waste and scrap. Question number 7. Mr. A has brought a laptop from USA with him. Such laptop has been used by Mr. B, the seller, for few months there. Mr. A contends that he can freely import such laptops. Second-hand laptops are notified goods that can be imported only against an authorization. So therefore, A's claim is not tenable in this case. So they have to import it, so with an authorization, only against an authorization. However, one point we can write that suppose if it is used in projects abroad for at least 1 year for setting up a project abroad, then it can be imported without any authorization. Like that we can write that extra point. State in brief policy for import of samples. So there is no authorization required for import of samples. However, samples up to 3 lakhs can be imported by all exporters without any payment of duty, and in case of samples of tea up to 2000 rupees AF can be imported without authorization, whereas in case of samples of vegetable seeds, bees and new drugs, authorization is required. Then next question, state segment aspects of advance authorization for annual requirement. So 300% of the FOB value of export or 1 crore, whichever is higher, that much of CIF value of imports is allowed, and this will be given on an annual basis, and it will be given for exporters having a past export performance at least 2 financial years. Okay. And then question number 10, explain salient features for post-export EPCG scheme. So EPCG scheme, first capital goods are imported without payment of customs duty and then export obligation is fulfilled. In case of post-export EPCG, what will happen? The capital goods will be imported on payment of customs duty, and thereafter upon export, they will be getting the refund of customs duty paid. But in that refund of customs duty paid, and they will get benefit only to the extent of IGS custom duties other than IGST or GST compensation cess, because IGST GST compensation cess is exempted only up to 36/2022. So here the date should be changed to 36/2022, 36/2022. And they need to achieve an export obligation, average export obligation, which is they need to maintain an exports which is at least average of the 3 preceding licensing years, and the specific export obligation is 6 times the duty saved, and this export obligation they need to achieve over a period of 6 years. In that 50% they need to achieve in the first block of 4 years and remaining in the remaining 2 years. Then question number 11. With reference to the provisions relating to EOU, EHTP, STP, BTP and SEZ schemes as contained in FTP, answer the following questions. A unit intending to trading handicrafts want to set up an EOU. Is it allowed? Handicrafts, so trading is not allowed in EOU. Any business they can do other than trading. An EOU has started production after 4 years, 10 months from the date of grant of letter of permission or letter of intent. Is this correct? Actually, they need to set up, so within 2 years from the date of grant of letter of permission, 2 years from the date of grant of letter of permission, it can be extended for a further period of 2 years, so by the competent authority. However, thereafter, if it is to be extended, then the board of approval should have given the permission. Then an EOU wants to import second hand capital goods which is prohibited. Prohibited goods, no one can import. Even EOU, EHTP, STP, no one can import prohibited goods. Then list some supplies which are deemed exports for the purpose of benefits under FTP. Total 6 deemed exports. Supply of goods to advance authorization, supply of goods to EPCG holders, supply of goods to EOU, EHTP, STP, BTP units, and supply of goods to projects financed by UN or international organizations, supply of projects which are covered under international competitive bidding, and supply of goods to nuclear projects. So these are considered as deemed exports. Then next, what are the key features of advance authorization scheme? Enlist the items which can be and which cannot be imported against advance authorization. That's a pure theory question related to advance authorization. Discuss the benefits granted to FTP under FTP to status holders. So that is also a theory question. That is, so they will be getting standard input output norms on priority, that is within 60 days, and they can do the clearances on self certification basis, and more than 1-star export house can establish the export warehouses, and 3-star, 4-star and 5-star can certify as to it is manufactured in India. These are some of the benefits granted, okay, to status holders. Explain the significant features of EPCG. So whatever you know about EPCG, you need to write there. Then write a short notes on the following with reference to provisions of EOU. So this is also a direct question. So therefore, whatever EOU related provisions that you need to write. What is deemed exports and what type of supplies regarded as deemed exports? This is a repeated question. So these are the type of questions that you can expect on FTP. Yes, there is one query. Anyway, GST covered under CBIC. Why separate in state GST for FTP? Actually, previously it was in 2015. It was given as state VAT departments. So because state VAT departments was not covered under CBIC, but now they just changed it to state GST departments. That's it. But actually that is repeated. You are right. Once we say CBIC, so that state GST departments is also covered there itself. Okay. Yes. We completed fully, that is customs and FTP. So the 25 marks weightage portion we completed, and I have discussed all the your questions given at the study material end, even perhaps illustrations given in study material also I have covered. So now if you start reading the study material, it will be like you will be more comfortable with respect to this.